Okay, so what you were just watching is an animation test we're doing with a CGI version of our puppet Fourth Doctor. So you're probably wondering, why are you making a CGI version of your puppet when you've got a puppet series already? Well, there's a reason. And one of them is the fact that I've noticed a large decline in sort of the hand puppetry style, the Henson style of performing puppets. And I have a theory why, and I'm not going to go into the theory right now. Maybe I'll make another video about that another time. So I decided to take the character because I think I really love some of the things we've done with the character and what we are going to continue to do with that character as a puppet as well as an animation, and make two different series. One that's got the potential of being a little more dynamic, where the puppets don't have to be green screen quite as much and we can show full bodies and walk cycles and things like that. And the other with the puppets, which we're gonna move towards a little more comical version of that. Something not quite as serious, but still have a good story to tell, if that makes sense. I feel like sort of the downfall is just there's so much puppetry on the internet right now of this particular style that I feel like we kind of get lost, and I'm hoping that this CGI animation will help us stand out, maybe bring some new people to the channel who like the animations as well as discover the puppetry and say, oh, this is cool. So we have a couple other things we're working on. Another CGI piece, as well as several other puppet pieces. This is primarily a puppet channel, but we will have a mix of different things. I look at CGI as digital puppets. In fact, our new series is going to be called Digital Doctor Who. And it's not only going to have Tom Baker in it, we're going to make a Peter Capaldi, we're building a Jodie Whittaker right now, and I'm hoping before the new series comes out, that we'll finish the Jodie enough to be able to do a short piece with Jodie and Tom as a crossover, sort of an introductory kind of thing. Short, but it should be cool. Okay, so what we're looking at now is just a simple walk cycle for these guys. This one is set to 12 frames a second, which is what the test video is set to. The only drawback to this is the video that I'm shooting now is in 30 frames a second, so I'm shooting it through the camera so you can see the simple walk cycle a little more stable, because when you play back 12 frames a second in a 30 frame a second video, it speeds everything up. You'll see what I mean when I attach it to this video later at full resolution. So here's what it looks like now. Let me roll back After Effects. Okay. So it's loading into memory now. As soon as it loads into memory, then it'll play back in real time. So this is the Doctor coming out of the corridor, walking up to the console room. And see, I like the quality. It's almost animation style. Well, it is animation, but I mean it's almost sort of stop motion to it, but at the same time it's not. I love the look of the Doctor, and yes, before anybody mentions it, I know the scarf needs to be longer. I'm going to have more dangly bits and things, but this was just getting the look down, if that makes sense. All right, so that's the 12. Now the 24 frame a second one, that's this guy. So you see he's a little bit smoother. It's the same length of animation, just he doesn't move quite as quickly. And if you look at stop motion picture, it's generally considered to be 24 frames a second, although television is considered to be 12, even for regular hand-drawn animation. And there might be more expert animators out there who can attest to that, or even maybe just disprove what I was saying, because people who do this more for a living, there's probably a lot more frame rates and other tricks that they use to do different things. So that's just their walk cycles. All right, so this is the opening shot to the first episode of A Leak in Time, and you'll be able to see the room, and those of you can go back and take a look at it if you want. There's the TARDIS flying by. All right, and there's our Doctor, and you can see the room here. The materials in it are a lot more sort of advanced. They play with colors a little bit more. So we'll skip ahead a little bit to where he meets Betsy, and you'll be able to see the room because it's a wider shot. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. All right. After the tidal wave hits. Okay, so you can see the shot. We've got a lot more dynamic lighting in this, and they're composited in with the water. I like this, but the reason why I've started doing the digital one is because I want to add a lot more to the show. So being able to do it digitally like that, that's
going to, I think, really sort of enhance it. There's things we can do with digital puppets that we can't do with regular puppets. But if you take a look at that room compared to the new one, which I'll show you right now, you'll be able to see that the animated room maybe has textures that seem a little bit more, they pop more because they're flatter textures. There's not as much reflection or bounce light going on because Mental Ray is not really being used as much. We are rendering in Mental Ray, but it's not using quite to the extent that we did in the original. It would take sometimes 80 hours to render an animation in the console room of the original. When you think about the concept of 80 hours, that's a long time to set up for one shot in one 5-second or 300 frame, which might be 10 seconds at 30 frames a second. You know, we would set up a shot and just let it render over the weekend because that's all we could do. With the animation, everything's going to be kind of built in, so we're not rendering for a long time and then having to composite on top of that and then having to render out that composition. I think the animation is going to add a different level of fun and maybe bring people in, like I said before, that maybe weren't as attracted to puppets but might be a little more to animation. Anyway, please, we're really curious of what you think of everything and we hope you like it. Please give us any comments below, what you think of puppets and why you think puppets maybe aren't doing as well anymore. It's a great discussion I'd love to have live sometime if we can get enough people interested. Anyway, like I said before, as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.